So we are back podcasting again about something that is not The Walking Dead show.
Yeah, it's kind of refreshing, right?
Yeah, it's a nice change of pace, I believe. Do you still feel like we're kind of cheating on Matt?
A little bit, yeah. But you know what he doesn't know won't hurt him. So
unless he keeps a watch on our channel, I don't know what I would be more upset about. Him getting mad for us podcasting without him, or to find out he doesn't listen to our podcast.
Yeah, just totally oblivious to anything going on our site. Well, either way.
Well, so we're here talking about actually something completely not Walking Dead related at all. We're getting completely away from that for this podcast, and we're going to be talking about the DC Universe. More specifically, everything going on right now with Batman, Dark Nights, Dark Days, Metal. Oh, there's so much going on, and well, not just Batman, but in our Justice League DC world.
It's all encompassing. I mean, it's swallowing the DC universe, and I couldn't be more happy.
Quite literally.
Yeah.
I mean, when you think about it, Superman and Batman both kind of got swallowed into that dark dimension, and Superman right now is a battery.
Yeah.
It's like, so what happened? They took me into the hole and made me into a battery.
Yeah.
But yes, Superman's kind of being used to power. What is it? It was a contraption they had, and Superman's powering that right now.
Yeah, it's basically fueling all of this
carnage.
It's all very confusing, but
yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I'm sure there are some comic experts out there who follow this more to the letter. But JP, my friend, has 2 full-time jobs.
Yeah, it's true.
And I have my own full-time job, which is kind of busy. So sadly, I get to read it once or twice, and then we talk about it. But
we're comic enthusiasts for sure. We're far from experts.
Right. Perfect way to put it there. We are we're big enthusiasts, but we don't claim to be experts. We're just chit-chatting about comics with fellow comic enthusiasts.
Yeah.
It's kind of what we're trying to do here. But so there's a lot going on in there right now. And after we just got, and obviously spoilers. I should have said that in the beginning, but I would obviously expect you to figure that out. But spoilers before I go any further. But we saw at the end of the Bats Out of Hell Part 3, it looks like they've all fallen to their Batman counterparts.
Yeah, and I thought Green Lantern totally had the Dawnbreaker, man. He was like running circles.
He's just strobing him and beating the crap out of him.
Yeah, I was wondering, did he like slip him some X or something like that? They're just totally raving out. I didn't know what was going on. Some Jolly Molly in the Green Lantern books, but no, he just totally put down Hal Jordan.
No problem. They all did, man. And it's and that's the thing too about this. I'm loving / hating it, as we said, because there's so many crossovers and so many other parts of it that waste my. That I ain't gonna call it waste because I enjoy it, but that I have to spend my money on. And let's talk a minute about the Dark Knights. I think that's so cool. I think that the other hero-inspired Batman, Bruce Wayne, is just such a cool twist and cool. And I love that basically they are his fears of what he could become, more or less.
Yeah, should he go too far? I mean, it's wild stuff, I
think my favorite one, though, if I had to pick a favorite one, would probably be Red Death. I don't know why. I think Red Death is just but they're all badass, but Red Death is just badass, man.
Yeah, Red Death was great. The Murder Machine, man, that was definitely one of my favorites.
Yeah.
Just, his attempt to keep Alfred alive in one form or another leads him, to
pretty much insanity.
Totally evil. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I think the one that I found the least interesting was, I'm trying to think, because of course you got Devastator, you got Red Death, you've got
the Merciless. You talking about the Wonder Woman one?
Yes, the Merciless. That was probably my least favorite if I had to pick one so
I wasn't
far.
Crazy about that. When I was hoping to see some hot Batman, Wonder Woman action going on,
right?
He's just cradling her dead body.
We just got teased, like we know it was happening, but we didn't get to see it.
Yeah,
dead bodies poop themselves, so the thought of Wonder Woman pooping herself just not.
Yeah.
I digress. Anyways, what I'm just saying, I think that was the Merciless is probably my least favorite. But with that said, they have all been great.
The Devastator, man, was awesome. Injecting himself with that Doomsday virus, man.
Well, and it's really cool too when you think that the Merciless might have been a great comic, and it was a great comic. So don't get me mixed up here. I'm not saying it's a bad, but in comparison to the others, it just didn't hold up. But that just speaks volumes on how good all of those others were, have been, because, I don't know. The Red Death's definitely my favorite. I just like that he's got that inner conflict going right now, kind of a Deadpool type thing, two voices, and he's got Barry Allen the whole time is trying to be like his rehab. Let me help you.
Oh man, what'd you think of that? The Batmobile, the Red Death Batmobile.
Yeah.
Well, it's like 3 of them.
Yeah,
man.
yeah.
It was
He
wild.
created like 3, and he was able to do it in like a matter of just like a second. He can create something out of nothing. I mean, we're talking about like godlike powers here. And
Yep.
going forward now, I think the last Dark Knight that we have is the Man Who Laughs. Or is that how they say it? The one who laughs? The man.
I think it's the Man Who Laughs.
Something to that effect. And that looks to be a Joker-inspired Bruce Wayne.
Yeah, I've read a little bit of spoiler stuff on that. I don't know if you want me to.
Yeah, I want to hear it. Spoiler, obviously, so cover your ears for the next
from
like,
what
couple
I've
minutes.
read, basically, on that Earth, the Joker finally pushes Batman to murder him, but in doing so, he releases some kind of toxin that basically, like, gives Batman on that Earth the same insanity as the Joker, so
Right.
it's basically in killing the Joker, he becomes the Joker.
Oh, that's really cool. It'd be cool to see if that actually comes to light.
Yeah, I sort of hate that I even read that, but I just, I was so stoked after reading the first one, I couldn't help myself.
Sidebar, it's not connected at all, but if you're not reading The White Knight right now, you really should be, man. Speaking of Batman, that's a really, I mean, it doesn't tie into metal or anything, but just Batman fans, if you're kind of tired of the same old, shtick with Batman and comics, that's a great change of pace. It's really cool.
Yeah. Next issue that drops, man. We definitely got to talk about that. Issue
no
number
doubt.
3 is coming up.
Yeah, I'm really enjoying that. It's just a nice, different kind of story. I love it when they do that. But back to metal and everything. So how do we? All right, we got Doomsday Clock coming out at the end of this month.
Yeah,
which is what we've been stoked for since reading the beginning of Rebirth and seeing the button, and then the button came out like a couple of months ago and gave us a nice tease.
Yeah.
It's hard to believe that came out. That was a while back. That was like in the early 20s issues, like 22, 23, 21, 22. Somewhere in that range, and now we're into like issues 33 of the Flash, and so it's been a while, but that gave us a little tease, and I didn't realize it was going to be so spread apart, so I read it getting excited, thinking Doomsday Clock was coming out then, but it's finally here. I wonder if metal is going to play into that at all, or if they'll just kind of run.
I think that'll probably wrap up on the before it really gets started. That's what I'm thinking anyway.
One giant conflict after another.
yeah, exactly. They just can't catch a break.
Do we think with Doomsday Clock that will end the whole Rebirth line? Like, because it kind of started with hints of Dr. Manhattan and Rorschach's. Well, I don't know about Rorschach, but the comedian's button and all of that. Do you think that that'll kind of end the Rebirth run and launch into something new? That's
what I'm wondering. It'd definitely be the perfect thing because everything culminates with the Watchmen, coming over. So,
and I would just be excited because I could say like I had the full runs of like the Flash, Batman action, all of that.
Yeah, I was keeping up with so many Rebirth titles. I did have to trim it down a bit, but I've still got some nice runs.
Yeah. I remember seeing your comic bill 1 week and just.
Yeah, man, that Rebirth relaunch really socked it to me.
But I hate that I'm going to have to do it too. I'm going to have to trim off. But I mean, like, but it's hard to do. I guess that just speaks volumes on their writing because it's so many good stories coming out right now. I don't know where I'm going to trim it off at.
Yeah, it makes you feel kind of like a historian, like you're chronicling all of this, DC history.
I'm having to buy a second copy of the Flash issue. Is it 32, 33? One of the two that did Bats Out of Hell Part 1, so that I can put it with the set of it's
a
sucks,
disease, man. It is a disease.
But so let's see what's on the line right now. We had Batman Lost just came out.
Yeah.
And we kind of see Barbados. So we kind of see, like, we've seen what's going on with all the other heroes, and we see Superman's story, but we really hadn't seen Bruce Wayne since, he kind of disappeared, and now we're kind of getting to see the hell he's going through with Barbados. And when that girl turned around with the Joker kind of grin face when he was telling her, the granddaughter, he was telling her the story or whatever.
Yeah.
Man, that like kind of caught me off guard. I flipped the page and was just kind of like,
It was very trippy, man. It was very trippy.
But we see Barbados claims that all of Bruce Wayne's success as Batman and everything all comes from him, right?
Yeah, like the Bat God. Yeah, I'm curious to see like how valid that actually is. It's hard to but
it almost looked like time travel. Like Bruce Wayne went back in time and like fought with some cave people, and they adapted or was that supposed to be Barbados? It got kind of confusing for me.
Yeah. At first, I was thinking it was going back to the Grant Morrison story, where like Batman gets sent back in time and has to live through the Stone Age and the Wild West and all this kind of stuff. It's a lot like Turtles in Time, the video game, but
right. That's one of my favorite Ninja Turtles, by the way.
Oh,
that one and maybe the second. I think those. That one and maybe Ninja Turtles 2, the one that was in the arcade.
Right. Yeah.
I think those were probably my two favorites. Turtles in Time, amazing.
Yeah, Turtles in Time is probably my favorite video game, just like ever. To be honest,
it just is. If I really would love, now that we've brought that up, I would love to find a copy of that. I mean, I'm sure I do, but I think my Nintendo's trashed. It probably doesn't.
Man,
work.
my Nintendo works, but that game just it's a whole thing.
I think I have the game. You have the Nintendo.
You got the game?
I do have the game somewhere.
Okay. All right, well, podcast over. Let's head out to South Boston and dig this up.
I spent lots of hours as a kid playing Turtles in Time. I thought it was just like a masterpiece game-wise.
It was,
it's just the best of the Ninja Turtles by far.
Yeah, like I said, I probably spent more hours on that than any other game.
That's awesome. Maybe we'll have to connect them at some point. Anyway, speaking of Ninja Turtles, Batman coming back out with the Ninja Turtles again at some point, supposedly.
Yeah, I still hadn't read that first series.
Like supposed to be. I've got the issues, but I've also got it in. I've got the trade if you want to borrow that.
I'm picking that up.
But that was really good. The Nickelodeon Turtles, they did another crossover with like the Nickelodeon Turtles. I'm not really feeling that, but they're supposed to be going back to the original. So anyways, I know this has nothing to do with metal, but there's so many comics out. It's hard to focus on like one storyline.
Yeah, for real.
But that'll be out soon. I'm looking forward to it. But so how do you think, do you have any ideas of how you think this is all going to play out? Do you think there's going to be like some time reset? Do you think that
I hope it's not like a total cop out like that, like someone just pushes a reset button. But
yeah, kind of like Marvel's done a time
pretty much with every event.
It seems though, like I mean, the Justice League's always had kind of a rift with Batman because Batman has such bad trust issues, as we know.
Yeah, and he's basically devised a way to defeat every single one. Which,
behind their back.
Yeah,
which I mean is smart though. Yeah, you live in a world of mind control and doppelgangers, and so it makes sense. But so, do you think that this is going to create some kind of new rift between the Justice League and Batman? Because ultimately, they're not blaming him per se, but I mean, this is somewhat, all his fault.
Yeah, he did open that portal to the dark multiverse or whatever.
Kept everything from them, didn't tell them anything about it, or anything. Do you think that there might be some big rift between them and Batman now?
Yeah, I think there's going to be some bad blood, but he's got to have some kind of contingency. I mean, I know he kind of like got lured into that trap and sent to the dark dimension and blah, 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 but he's got to have a contingency.
I mean, it's Bruce Wayne, man. I mean, he's like one of the smartest people in the DC universe. He's got to have some kind of something, right?
Maybe getting hooked up to that big battery or whatever is part of his plan to like get like into the inner workings where he can fight it from the inside. I don't know, but.
And it's crazy going way back. Now this was back to was this even a metal or was this a prelude where the Joker was actually trying to stop it from happening?
Yeah, that was either the Forge or the Casting.
Yeah,
one of those.
Yeah. Those were good too, man. The preludes to those were really good. But yeah, actually seeing the Joker like this time, I'm the one trying to do the right thing.
Yeah, it's always good to see that. I hadn't really seen the Joker like being on the side of the angel since I think it was Grant Morrison's Batman and Robin. Man, that was a really good series with Dick Grayson and Damian teaming up, and the Joker ends up being this like masked hero. No one knew who he was, and blah blah. Anyway,
yeah.
But oh man, yeah, and we're still like I'm still wondering about like the three Jokers thing,
Yeah,
mentioned that. Yeah, like which Joker is it even really like the Joker?
How long ago was that? Was that in the New 52? I can't remember.
Yeah. I think towards the end of it.
Yeah, that'd be really cool if this somehow alluded to that. But we're getting ready to go into Doomsday Clock, which will be interesting. Again, like I said, I mean, this is all canon continuity. So it's like, I wonder if. I don't know, like if this will lead into, like maybe it gets so jacked up that Dr. Manhattan has to step in.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, he sees past, present, and future all the same.
Yeah.
He kind of is God, more or less. And, I mean, I don't know that that'll happen. I hadn't. And so for those experts that are like, dummy, so-and-so already, I try not to read that much into it. I'm just reading solely off the comics. But yeah. It'll be interesting to see if maybe it ties into Doomsday Clock because I don't want Batman to get too estranged from the Justice League because I told you a year and a half ago, it was like last summer, that I would love to see Batman working alongside Rorschach.
Yeah, I totally remember
They're both
that.
really good detectives. I mean, completely different but not really. You know what I mean? Like they don't really trust anybody. They've got dark. You know, they're different, but they're very similar at the same time. I think that would be my favorite team up.
I mean, Rorschach will murder you. That would pretty much be the main difference.
Yeah,
but.
Rorschach will. Yeah. I don't really care too much to listen to Superman and Dr. Manhattan trade philosophy, something I feel like we're going to have to go through. But I do want to see Batman and Rorschach working together. You know what I mean? I just hope it's not too... I don't know. Like I hope it's not like Nickelodeon Ninja Turtles and Batman. Like I hope that they try to stay as true to like Alan Moore's Watchmen.
Yeah, I think they really are. It's in good hands with Jeff Johns, and I mean even the way the paneling is set up, it's very reminiscent of the original of Watchmen. So I
just remember seeing that button. Was that at the end of the actual like Rebirth issue, or was that in the Flash? Yeah. It was one of the two, and I just remember seeing that button, getting so excited, oh, I did not see that coming. This is awesome.
Yeah, man, it's some dangerous ground they're treading. I mean, that's like a big serious thing that if they shit on it, it's not going to be good. But I don't think they will. I think it's gonna come together. And
I'm excited. It's got to. This has been what I've probably been looking forward to the most for like the last year and a half. I mean, just waiting and. Like just for reading for any sign that I can that that they've given it, even they hadn't given a date or we didn't know it. I'm so excited.
Yeah, same here.
So I don't know where. That's the thing about Metal. I really don't know where it's going. I mean, I feel like a lot of Flash. If you read the Flash's comics now, I mean, in my opinion, they're kind of predictable. Like you kind of have an idea of where they're going and yada yada yada. But like two things, I have no clue where they're going. Is the Action Comics, the Dr. Oz or Mr. Oz effect. I don't have a clue where that's going to go, and I don't know where Metal's going or the Dark Knights, Dark Days. Like I don't know where any of this is leading to.
Well, with Metal, I mean, they've pretty much left off the entire Justice League is around this big battery in the dark multiverse now. I think bringing them all together is going to, Yeah,
because they were defeated at the end of Bats Out of Hell 3, right? Yeah. So they're on their way to go charge the super battery.
And they're trying to like corrupt Cyborg one way or another.
You think he might be the savior in all of this? Because I mean, he was coming in helping them. I mean, maybe he will be able to like reverse the. I'm using terms I don't understand. Maybe he'll reverse the polarity of the machine. You know what I mean? Do you think maybe he'll be the saving grace? I feel like Cyborg could use a big win, right? I mean, he's one of those characters. And don't get me wrong, I haven't read I haven't followed any Cyborg by himself, maybe mainly just like Justice League. But I mean, he doesn't really get like the Superman, Flash, Wonder Woman glory as often, right? So maybe this will be a big victory for Cyborg.
Yeah, I could see maybe him freeing everyone from the battery, and then they kind of regroup.
Yeah, because I mean, with the movie coming out and no prior movie to him, they kind of maybe need to draw some support for. I don't know. I'm thinking out loud.
Shoot,
this is going to end after the Justice League movie, so I guess that's not really a good
Batman,
theory,
Superman looking rough right now, though. All like drained of their youthfulness, looking all. And man, like the Flash when he was at in Central City, man, Iris was looking rough. They all just been drained of their essence or whatever.
And what they've been drained of their essence. We see that because it's just when you read so many different titles, you forget like which storylines and which. The Devastator is the one where now Lois has the Doomsday virus, right?
Yeah.
So I mean, like, it's like, where is it going? I mean, it's my main fear is they've played. They've got too many cards on the table.
Just gonna have to pull a Rick and Morty where they just abandon that entire universe and go to an identical one. Yeah,
perfect. It's exactly what I'm thinking of. I just hope they don't end up like Lost, which I mean, I love Lost, my favorite show of all time, but where they just they have too many things going on, I mean, because they've got so much happening right now.
Yeah.
A Lois versus Superman fight would be badass.
Oh my gosh,
like Doomsday Lois, versus Superman. I don't know. Like I said, it's almost like they're going to bring Dr. Manhattan in, and he's just going to reset everything, or like close the portal, But I mean, they might not. The two might not.
Yeah, it's all. We were talking about Stranger Things. It's kind of like that rift between the upside down in the real world, it's just opening up and all kinds of wild stuff is coming through.
Speaking of which, if you haven't seen season 2 of Stranger Things, like, what are you doing?
Yeah, I just wrapped it up a couple days ago, man. Just,
I've got one more episode, and then I'll be done. I'm super excited. I've loved every bit of it up to this point. Just hard to not keep watching. But so I don't know, man. I don't know where it's going, but I'm excited to be a part of the ride. You know what I mean?
Yeah, same here. Same here. We'll definitely, like, with the I think Man Who Laughs comes out next week.
Right.
We'll definitely, revisit, maybe have a little bit more of an outline. Like you said, it's so many things in the air, man. It's hard to,
Yeah.
I mean, just in Batman Lost alone, there was so much going on.
Yeah. I mean, it really is. It's a lot to keep up with.
Yeah.
With this ongoing story, whereas like you read the individual issues like Batman, The Flash, Action, it's just like a straight storyline. It's easier to keep up with. This, man, there's so many things happening. It's just kind of hard to wrap your mind around it all.
It's true,
but it's good writing. I mean, I'm enjoying every bit of it.
Scott Snyder, man, his stuff on Batman's been out of this world. I've got everything from this New 52 run on forward. So. It's been really cool to, see it all culminate with this.
What's his All-Star Batman just wrapped up? What's the next one coming out? You said it's going to be based on...
Batman the Signal, that kid, Duke Thomas?
Yeah. When does that come out?
I think like around the first of the year, maybe.
Huh. That's going to be cool. I'm not sure if I'm going to jump on that one or not because I have got to trim some fat off of my comic stack. But it'll be interesting to have that run, you know what I mean?
Yeah, like I said, I've got all of Scott Snyder's Batman stuff up to this point, so I'll definitely be getting it.
Some big things happening in the DC world, especially with Bendis leaving Marvel and going to DC. We know he's a good writer.
See the day, yeah.
I mean, he's been kind of the guy that, like, I guess in the last year or two, I'd say, which I know he's been writing for a while, but in the last year or two especially, basically if I saw his name on it, I'd at least throw it in my box to start. Whether I continued with it or not depended. But, I mean, he's just, I guess, that good of a writer.
Yeah.
When I saw that he was writing it, I was like, I'll put me down for it. I'll try it out.
Yeah.
So it's going to be interesting to see what he does with the DC universe.
Yeah, no kidding.
I want to know who's he going to be writing. Like, what's, you know what I mean? Like, is he going to be doing Batman? I haven't read anything other than he's going to DC.
Yeah.
Have you heard anything different?
No, I don't think any details have really got fleshed out yet.
Going to be interesting.
He signed a multi-year deal, and he's going to be exclusive to DC, so.
He's mine.
Yep.
Well, we will come back to you. This is the first time. If you haven't already, you should go hit that subscribe button. We'd love for you to hit the like button. We basically started off, and we still do a podcast about The Walking Dead television show with another friend, Matt, that is normally with us on that, but he's not reading the Metal storyline, so it would have been boring for him.
Yeah.
If he'd had to sit here, it'd be like sitting through preaching. You know what I mean? It might have been a bad reference if you're like super into church. No offense.
Yeah, that's a whole nother podcast.
But yeah, right. But I feel like he'd have been bored because we'd be talking about events and things happening that he doesn't. But so Matt's with us and we talk about the Walking Dead show. JP and I just recently decided to start doing Comic Cast. I don't know if that name's taken or not.
Yeah,
so
we'll see.
But we talked about the Walking Dead's latest issue, so you can go check that out if you're following that. And we'll expand to like Marvel and talk about other things going on. It's so many things happening. I don't really know how we'll do this. Maybe we'll do a podcast for each series. Maybe we'll combine them together and talk about like 3 or 4 in one pod. We'll figure it out.
Yeah.
But so if you like to talk comics and theorize and all that fun nerdy stuff, subscribe and hang out with us.
Yeah.
So we will see you at the latest next week for the new episode of The Walking Dead and the newest issues of comics.
Yeah, we will be here.
So I'm Justin.
And I'm JP.
We'll see you soon.